Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Kim Quady with kimplayswithpaper.com, joining you this Tuesday morning to show you a really fun technique using Stampin' Up's ink refills and baby wipes. It's called the baby wipe technique. Good morning, Sarah. Thanks for joining me. Many of you might have seen this technique before. If you have, it's just a great refresher and a reminder that it's out there. And for me, I especially love this technique in the fall. So thanks for joining me live. If you can't watch me live, good morning. Sue, good to have you here. And Kirsten, ooh, you had some snow there in Montana. So I get distracted easily, don't I? But you can watch the video replay on my Facebook page, or I will be transferring it to a YouTube video later today. Hi, Mary. Thanks for joining me. So I'm going to be using Stampin' Up's re-inkers and baby wipes to do the baby wipe technique. And this is the card that I'm going to be making. I know it's backward right now, but it'll be forward here shortly. So I am going to move my camera down to the workspace and we'll get started because there are a lot of pieces and a lot of supplies that I used, and I want to be sure to remember all of them for you. So just hang tight. Get a little view of my ceiling there. There we go. All right. All right, so starting with Stampin' Up's ink refills, these are $3.75. And when someone buys an ink pad from Stampin' Up, I always recommend that you get the re-inker. The one reason is when you use an ink pad a lot, it might need to be re-inked. But then again, it's also good. Hi, Brenda, thanks for joining me. These little re-inker bottles are also good for this technique, as well as watercoloring and a host of other things. So for $3.75, they're an awesome value. I know, Sarah, it was very cold in Nebraska, and it was actually kind of cold to here too, like 40 or 45, but never fear, we're going to heat up to the mid 80s. Hi, Marty. Thanks for joining me from Florida and for sharing it. So the re-ink colors I'm going to use are Cherry Cobbler, Blackberry Bliss, all my favorite colors of fall. And then I have Crushed Curry. Going slow, so if you're taking notes, I'll also have the supply list on the YouTube video and on my blog at kimplayswithpaper.com tomorrow. Pumpkin Pie, as well as Old Olive. The supplies I use, Blackberry Bliss, the card base measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. You'll also need another little piece of Blackberry Bliss, 4 by 3. I just love these color combinations, especially for fall. That's the one thing that I do miss about living in the Midwest are all the awesome fall colors. I also have a piece of Blackberry Bliss that's cut with one of the layering ovals dies. I have a 5 1/4 by 4 piece of very vanilla cardstock that will go on the inside of the card. I have 5 1/4 by 4 piece of Cherry Cobbler cardstock, and it was run through the Woodland embossing folder. So it just adds a little dimension to that. Then I also used shimmery white. So I have a shimmery white, and it's a little hard to see on the video this morning. I have a little bit of glare. The shimmery white is 3 3/4 by 2 3/4, and then I have a scrap that's 3 by 2. Watercolor paper would work well for this technique too, but the shimmery white cardstock just gives it a little bit more flair and fun, and it's super easy to work with, and it takes water fairly well. Not a lot of water, but enough water. I'm also going to use one of the acrylic mats. You could also use wax paper underneath, but I have this from Stampin' Up, so it works really well. Then I'm going to take two baby wipes, the fragrance-free baby wipes. I probably wouldn't need two, but I just going to make a nice layer. Hi, Jane. Thanks for joining me today. So we've got that all ready to go. And now what I'm going to do with those baby wipes is make myself an ink pad so that I can do some stamping. And you can do these in any order that you wish. And what's nice, so I'll just squirt, and there is no rhyme or reason to this, and there is no right or wrong. So I just applied the cherry cobbler. It kind of depends on which colors you like best for fall. These are mine, and there are a lot of others that we could add in here as well. And then I'm going to do some old olive. So Mary, have you done this technique before? What other... this works really well for fall, and this is primarily the time I use it. I don't, what else could we use it for? Good morning, Gina. Oops, so then I'm going to add, let's see, pumpkin pie. Just love that too. Let's see, let's go to the Blackberry Bliss. And you know what? The thing is it's going to, you're going to get a different look every time you do this. And in class, everybody's going to have a different look as well. Nobody's card will look exactly the same. So there I have my ink pad all made, and I'm using the leaf from Stampin' Up's Rooted in Nature stamp set. And then I'll be using the sentiment, the thank you from the Peaceful Moments. All right, so let me just show you what I did to get this going. So I'm just, let me move my ink pad. Just anywhere, I'm going to place my ink or my stamp into the ink and put it on my paper. And you'll see that's the image that you get. And then without re-inking, I'm just gonna stamp it again, and that gives you just a lighter image. So from here on, I can say, all right, I think I like this end, so I'm going to press it in here and just see what happens. Ooh, and then without stamping, without cleaning it, I'm gonna put it here. And you also have a little bit of extra room if you want to clean that off. Let's see, where else would I like? Let's just try over here just to see all the different colors I get. And because I could use something a little brighter in there. And without stamping off, I think that fits right in here. So you can see what I've created with that. And then if you'll notice very lightly over here on the sentiment, I did put some leaves there to kind of carry the theme through. So how I did that was, because I don't want it to cover up the sentiment, I will stamp off, and then I will stamp on. Maybe give it a quick clean, stamp on, stamp off, stamp on my sheet. Ooh, I like that Blackberry Bliss. I really need to stick with that because that is my absolute favorite. So I'm going to stamp over here, stamp off, stamp on. And I think I'm going to put one more leaf over in the corner. So, oh, I like that Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to do that right here. Well, I missed it, but there we go. So now we are just ready to put the card together. If what I would do is cut a whole bunch of pieces of this 4x3 and use it until the ink has, that you've used up most of the ink. Sometimes I'll take have class members take them home in a Ziploc so that they can use it later and use it as one of those ink pads. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining me. Thanks, Marty. It is a really pretty card, and it's a fun technique to do for me, especially in the fall. So, and it's awfully messy. It's one of those where you know you've been stamping because there's inky fingers all over the place. But I have some clean baby wipes, so I'll try to get that so I don't get it all over everything. So I'll start with my Blackberry Bliss base, fold it in half. Use my I'm going to move that so I don't have my Stampin' Seal Plus, and I'll put that in the middle. Actually, maybe what we should really do too is let's stamp the inside of the envelope. Normally, I wouldn't put this down until I've stamped, but I'm thinking I'm going to be risky. I'm going to go for it in case but I don't like to, in case I make a mistake, I don't like to put that down right away. Let's see, let's just put it right here in that corner. Ooh, that's really pretty. And oh, how about the envelope too? Let's just put it on the back in the back flap. That is one thing I know some people are really good about doing the envelopes, and I sometimes forget. So I'm gonna put the leaf there on here. I know, Marty, too, we just moved to Arizona, and we do have some color, but not the huge fall color changes. But now the Midwest has seen some snow, and I'm certainly okay with that. All righty. Now the card can go together. So we've already done the inside. We're good to go. Then the next thing I did on this card, I have the cherry cobbler that I've already run through the woodland embossing folder. I did and then we need our Blackberry Bliss and this main piece here. So I will put those together just with my little Stampin' Seal Plus on the back. I think if you've watched these videos before, remember I try to come on at 8:30 every Tuesday morning and show a different technique and some card samples. I tend to use a lot of adhesive because I just hate for things to fall apart in the mail. So I'm going to layer that stamped piece onto the Blackberry Bliss. Then I'm going to layer the Blackberry Bliss onto our embossed piece. So we're almost ready to go. And a lot of times glue will work really well with the embossed piece. But the problem is I'm not always good with glue. So I end up getting it everywhere. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to add, I'll bring back the card, a little bit of the linen thread. It seems like I use linen thread on a lot of my cards. It just adds just a little, it doesn't add a lot of bulk, but it adds some dimension to it. And I used a lot, I think, on this one. And then I always end up using too much. And that's the end of that roll. But I think there's always one. So use the scissors sometime to get the few of the kinks out. So I'm going to start in the front here, roll it around the base, and then tie a bow right about here. Hopefully, hi Joy, thanks for joining me. Hopefully I can tie a bow by the time this video is over in a few minutes. Sometimes they go really well and sometimes they don't, but let's try to get it really tight. There we go. That was amazing. And then you can just take the little edges and put them where you want. And take my snip and snip that. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and put that piece onto our base. Again, glue works really well for some people. Just loads and loads of adhesive works well for me to get in the edges of all that embossing. Donna, yeah, Donna, I will get the dimensions and the measurements will be on my blog tomorrow at kimplayswithpaper.com. So all of the measuring and the supplies and the ingredients will be on there as well. So, so look for that tomorrow. It's kimplayswithpaper.com. I will try to send you a message or put that in the comments. Hi, Chris. Thanks for joining us. We're just finishing up with our card using the baby wipe technique. And then, if you remember, I had this piece there, and I'm using the thank you from the Peaceful Moments. I'm going to ink up my Blackberry Bliss. I use my grid paper to practice. Push that right in the middle. And then I would go to my die cutting machine and cut that out with one of the stitched ovals. But I've got one pre-done. Woohoo, the beauty of working ahead. And let's see, I showed you all of the ingredients. And so in the last few minutes, my little piece of, oh no, here it is. I thought it disappeared. So I'm going to just use a couple of glue dots to put the sentiment onto the oval. And then we would use our dimensionals to pop it up. And that's our finished card today. The fall card using the baby wipe technique. And it doesn't have to be a thank you card. There are a lot of sentiments that fit in an oval, and it doesn't even have to be an oval here. You could use a punch shape. You could use something with the classic label punch. I think the birthday sentiment would fit in here really well too. Thanks, Teresa. Thanks for popping in. Yes, it is it's just a fun technique that it's always fun to be reminded of that. So there was the card we've been making. We made it in class last week, and we'll make it in class this week as well. It will be on a YouTube video sometime tomorrow, along with all the measurements, and on my blog at kimplayswithpaper.com. I will be back next Tuesday morning at 8:30 Pacific time, and that may change time for you. Arizona doesn't change their time, but you guys do, so be sure to figure that out. Thanks for joining me. Have an awesome day, and we'll catch you next week. Let me know if you have any questions about this or any other paper crafting techniques. Have a good one. Bye-bye.